Hey, yes, moms. So I'm just going through my journal while I give you guys some time to come into the room. Welcome. I'm vibing out to some lofi hip hop beats on Spotify. So I'm really excited to talk to you. Per usual, I love having this discussion and, coming together to have a conversation. But today's going to be a little bit different. I definitely want to create space to be vulnerable so that you can also feel comfortable doing so. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to give a little more time for folks to come into the room. If you're streaming from YouTube, make sure you go on Facebook and ask to or request to be a part of the Yes Moms group so that you can be a part of the conversation. I can't really see the comments as much on YouTube. They don't come through, they're kind of spotty. So if you want to actually join the conversation, make sure you go to Facebook and request to join the Yes Moms Facebook group. You won't regret it, I promise. But I'm going to give folks a little more time to come into the room. So I'm going to sit here and sip my water and go through these journals because I'm going to share something with you today. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure that you also click the link at the top of the screen so you can give access for Facebook to see your name so that I can see your comments. Okay? All right. that beat. All right. I'm gonna leave this playing low in the background. See how that sounds. Do a quick mic check. Because I like music in the background. It gives me a vibe, you know? Hopefully we won't get copyrighted. Sending some love to Tara right now. Sending some love to everyone right now. Speaking of, this is my self-love candle or crystal. So I'm gonna be holding on to this one today because we're gonna be talking about self-love. Speaking of, this is my self-love candle or crystal. So I'm gonna be holding on to this one. That doesn't sound bad. You can still hear me. Cool. Just checking on a few things and then we're gonna get started, all right? All right. So yes, you can still hear me with this. Okay, I'm gonna leave this on because I like having a vibe in the background. So if you're wondering where I'm at, this is a different location. I am in New York. I came out here to teach some dance classes. What's going on, Asha? What's poppin'? What's good? I'm here in New York teaching a few dance classes out here and I'm staying at my friend's house. And so I'm just gonna vibe with you from here. I just felt like being grounded on the floor, so I am. So yes, what's going on? Yes, different location. Yes. To have a little studio set up. I love it. I'm so proud of my friends just to see them grow and blossom. It's so fulfilling and so inspiring. So yeah, I'm in a different location, but I'm just really excited about today's conversation. I'm coming from a very grounded space because I'm going to have a very grounded conversation with you. So before we do that, I want to take some time for some deep breaths. So if you are in a space where you're safe to just take a moment, I encourage you to join me. We're just going to take a few deep breaths in. So just exhale everything that's in you right now. Exhale. And take a deep inhale. Hold it at the top for 4 seconds. And release. Another deep inhale. Hold it for 4 seconds. Release for 6 seconds. This time I want you to breathe in the color blue for calm. Deep inhale. And release. And one more deep inhale, seeing the color blue for calm. And as you release, you see the color red. To release any anxieties or negativity you may be holding on to right now. All right. I'm feeling good, feeling great. How are you? That's my first question to break the ice. How are you? What's going on? How you feeling? 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 All right. Welcome everybody to our midday check-in. I'm so excited per usual to have you. I had to do a few slides. I always try to make sure I put something pretty together for you because it's part of the vibe. You feel me? So welcome. This is a place where we have a conversation about self-love because it is important to love on yourself. Loving on yourself is what's going to manifest all of the things, excuse me, Loving on yourself is what's going to manifest all of the things into your life that you deserve and you desire, starting from within and then without. Yes. Feeling so good, so blessed. Yes, Asha, I love to hear that. I love to hear that, and I'm vibing off of you. I'm happy to hear that you're feeling good, feeling blessed, all of that, all of that, all of that. Very happy to hear that, boo. I'm a little tired. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm a little tired, but I'm also feeling I'm just so grateful to be doing the things that I'm doing and being able to connect with you and have these types of conversations. And I just feel so much more aligned in myself these days. So I'm appreciative of that. So even when I have moments of I'm tired, my back hurts, I'm low-key, I'm about to do my self-care after this because my back hurts. It does. But being able to have these conversations really fill me up. So I'm grateful to have you here. I'm glad you're feeling good. Let's jump into it. Today, we're going to be talking about self-love, specifically my self-love journey. So before we jump in, I do want to say a little bit about who I am. My name is Chantel Sarita, and I am your eclectic self-love coach. I have worked with dancers, I've worked with gymnasts, I've worked with cheerleaders, I've worked with coaches, helping them to build a mental skills toolkit so they can bring successful competitiveness out of them when they're out on the field, when they're dancing, when they're on the stage. And since then, I have learned really that I had to start from me. Like, I was starting to feel a little lost in my journey. And this is a good place to kind of start telling a little bit about my journey. I don't want to make this like a regular, like how we usually do, where it's like presentation form. This really is a conversation today. So I want to jump in and just tell a quick story. I remember when I was living in New York, and it was just after COVID, everything started happening. You guys already know. Everybody's lives changed. And I remember being in my little room, little cube in my apartment with my two roommates. And obviously we couldn't go anywhere. So we were in the same place together the whole time. Very small space. I am an introvert, and I need to recharge my energy from my safe haven, my space. My space is so important to me. It's what fulfills me. It's what grounds me before I start my day, having my incense going in my room and having my pillows and having my space, you know what I'm saying? And it's quiet when I need it to be quiet, even though that's not always going to be the case. I digress. In New York, I had these two roommates, and we're just experiencing a lot of different energies because we're all in the space, and it's a strange time. Like, everybody's losing their jobs. I had lost all of my dance gigs, everything. I had literally just left being a full-time behaviorist, and I moved into just creative work. And during that time, it was around March. So right after I decided to leave, shit hit the fan. When I tell you shit hit the fan, what's going on, fam? What's going on? Thank you. You have these earrings too? We have those same earrings. I believe I pointed that out before too. Yes, I'm glad I decided to put these on today, because it was like, I brought these with me in my suitcase, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put these on, but it's hard to walk in them because they be like all over the place. And when I be dancing, they get in the way. But it's nice for this conversation because I can just sit here and they just dangle and look cute, right? Aren't yours yellow, Sheba? Let me know. Aren't yours yellow? So yeah, so I was, it was just a lot of energy. And New York is a very busy place. So you walk outside and there's just people. Yeah, she does have yellow. I thought so. I feel like yellow is your color. You look really good in yellow, boo. You look really good in yellow. So I remember trying to do walks, like take my walks, and I really love nature as well. I really love being by water. Oh, black and brown. Got you. Yeah, so I remember trying to go outside and go for a walk, and it's just people everywhere, like everywhere I go. And then there's barely any nature. When I lived in Chicago, there was lots of water. I love that. It makes me feel, and we've talked about this before, water is just so soothing. So to not be around anything that I felt like was filling me up, at the same time, I'm around all these different energies that I'm not used to, I started to notice a pain in my chest. And the pain was, it was like a little murmur at first. And I've always kind of had that, but I would ignore it. Got really good at ignoring my pain. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna take a sip of water while we think about that. I got really good at ignoring my pain. Yikes. So I got really good at ignoring my pain. Really good at that. And my acupuncture therapist pointed it out one day. She said, have you been having like heart pains? And I was like, yeah, I mean, sometimes it pops out. Sometimes it pops out. And when she said that, I started to think about it. I got you. That's what we're here for, babe. So I started to think about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, sometimes I do have like it feels like little pins sometimes. And it won't be like all day. It's not consistent, but I noticed it would happen every once in a while. And so when she said that, I was like, you're right. I do have that. Because at the time I was doing a lot of acupuncture therapy, spiritual work, working on myself as far as where my spirit was. I was doing a lot of work on that. Yes, ignoring pain is so deep. And we're going to get into that a little bit too, because I have we're going to get into it. Yes. So I started to realize like these little pains that I'm having, they're real. Like, oh, I didn't even realize it. So after that, it started to get a little more intense because I was paying attention. And as I'm paying attention, I'm noticing like, oh, it's actually really kind of painful. Like, what's going on? Like, the more I notice, the more I realize like, this is not what's happening. And I'm not going to hold you again with being vulnerable. This is a time where I was smoking vape pens. Y'all already know. I'm just going to keep it real. I was smoking vape pens. We're in it now. You're getting into my diary. Okay. You've been here for the past 16 minutes. You're getting into the diary. It's happening. Right. So I was smoking my vape pen, and I believe that I'm not sure if it was the cause of it or if it was causing me to pay more attention. Either way, I started to notice that it was very intense, little sharp pains that I was having. Thank you for the encouragement. Yes, and muscle also has memory. You're absolutely right. It got to a point where I started to do research because I was also doing work on aligning myself. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel much more aligned these days because of the work that I've done on it. Clap, snap, and shake that out. Come through. Yeah, the work that I've done on it from this story that I'm telling you right now is why I feel more aligned, and it's led up to this point. But this specific event, they all come together to get me to the space that I'm in now. So, you know what I'm saying? So it got to a point one day where I was doing some research on what was causing this pain. Where was this coming from? Like spiritually, not just, physically, which I was also, nervous about being physically something wrong. So I wanted to start from literally within before I decided to, all right, maybe this is something I need to go get checked out. And that's how I was feeling, because it was very uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable pain in my heart. It literally was in my chest, in my heart. And I was doing research, and I came across an article that talked about the chakras and your heart being connected to your inner child. And when I read that, I was like, oh, like even right now, I'm feeling a sense of relief for being able to make that connection. But then it was an immense pain that I had. And I didn't know why. And I'm kind of getting a little emotional. I didn't know why, but I knew that I needed to pay attention to Lil Shani. She was asking for my attention. And I didn't realize what it was yet until I read that you should write in the color green, and there were different things you can do to get to the point of connecting with your inner child. Because when you first notice and you try to pay attention to her, maybe she's shy, and she was shy. She didn't want to tell me what was wrong. So I had to do what she needed to feel comfortable. So they said the color green, it represents the heart chakra and your inner child. So I got 4 different shades of green markers and some my journals. No, I got 4 pieces of paper, blank paper. And when I was a kid, I used to sit in the closet. That was my safe space. I would sit in the closet and go in the back behind all my little clothes. I was like, imagine me like Lil Shani, like crawling into the little corner, like, and then like getting her little journal. And I would do that. So I decided I was going to do that again. Like, okay, maybe if I do this, I can make a connection with little Shani. So at this point, guys, I'm bawling. I'm not even gonna deny it. I was bawling at this point. So I go into the back to my closet, close my door, and I start journaling, and I start writing out everything that I'm feeling and everything that my experiences that I've had in the past, and I'm just writing. I'm just getting it out in poetry form, all types of different shades of green, and as I'm writing, I'm just crying. I'm just letting everything out. I'm just writing and crying, letting it out, and rhyming and writing and crying, letting it out, and rhyming and writing and lighting, and all of that. I'm doing all of that. And as I'm doing it, I'm feeling like a sense of relief. It was a very intense sense of relief. And when I finished, I had 4 pages back and front of just trying to connect to little Shani, talking to her, and giving her the space to talk back if she wanted to, or to just sit and listen, I wanted to give her a voice, but I wanted her to take it in her own time. And so doing that was a way for me to connect with my younger self. And I didn't realize that I needed it that much at the time, but I did. And so when I got up and I stood up and I opened the door and I came out, I just felt so light. I felt so much lighter. My chest wasn't heavy anymore. It didn't feel like pins were in it anymore. It didn't have that intense feeling. It was relief. And that was the moment where I connected that I have to listen to my body. My body is trying to tell me something deeper than I can even realize. So listen. You have to listen. So now I know that when I'm having little heart pains, or, even like now when my back is feeling, kind of iffy, I'm not gonna lie, it's feeling kind of iffy. I'm gonna listen to that and I'm gonna do something about it because I deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve to give yourself the love that you need to take care of yourself, even your younger self. Think about your 15-year-old self. And, I have to be mindful because I know some people everybody has a story, but, I just want to be mindful of. There are some things in your story that maybe you are not ready to face, and that's okay. But I just want to be mindful of when I say think about your younger self as well, because that can be a trigger warning for some people, myself included in certain areas. So that you're not alone in that. But I just wanted to share that story to show you, kind of where I've come in my journey. And this is only a split hair of it. I want to read a little bit of my journal here. First, before I do that, I love to show you the research. I love showing you the research. And I have an article here that I pulled up that I want to go through a little bit with you. Yes, so this is talking about the 4 aspects of self-love. And that's self-awareness. That's the first one. And that's literally the story I just told you, with me becoming aware that my body was trying to tell me something, that little Shani was trying to get my attention, that she needed a voice. She needed a voice. And I wouldn't have noticed that if I didn't become self-aware. Okay, so self-awareness is being aware of your thought processes, your thoughts, how they affect your emotions, and how emotions cause you to act, right? So my emotions was causing my heart to have little pains, and I decided my behavior, how I acted, was to ignore it, right? Until I became aware, and that's when I said, "Oh, I shouldn't ignore it. I should." Now, when I feel that way, I do a inner child meditation for myself, or I'll write in the color green. Like, let's go back to the comments here. Like Asha said, yes, because it's gonna bring me relief. I think about that. You deserve it. We deserve it. Yes. Thank you, Sheba, Asha. Yes. Pushing through, Dandelion. Absolutely. That's what we do. So gaining that self-awareness is a component of self-love. Self-worth. I want to watch, oh wait, no, it's not, it doesn't go with this one. Self-worth, self-esteem, self-care. Yes, self-worth or self-awareness, self-worth, self-esteem, and self-care. These are the 4 aspects of self-love. Okay, so we just touched on self-awareness. So I want to have another conversation with you, but first I want to watch this video. Let me pause the music so we can watch this video together. And this is talking about self-love and intention, being intentional.
I have a question for everyone. That question is, what defines you as a person? What makes you you? A lot of us tend to define ourselves through our physical image, our jobs, our bank balance, and a lot of the time through what others have to say about us. I used to define myself through 3 things. In high school, I was quite the people pleaser. I wanted everyone to like me because I thought that the more likable I was, the further that I would get in life, because being popular was so cool. And I tried so hard to become this person that everyone would like. A majority of the time I was living my life through other people's opinions of me. From the age of 16, I started to obsess over my weight. I wanted to look like the cover girl in Cosmo magazine, you know, the Photoshopped one. My diet consisted of just salads, and I used to literally count every single calorie that my body was consuming. I even went to the extreme of harming my body for many years to try and get rid of the food that I'd eaten because I needed the thigh gap and I needed the thin waist. I was in a relationship for the last 2 years of school, and I truly believed that my happiness came from someone else giving it to me. I had put so much pressure on this other person to be everything to me, to make me feel worthy and make me feel like I was enough. And then when the relationship ended, I was completely broken. I didn't know how I was going to stand on my own, and I felt like I lost the little sense of identity that I had, and I was terrified of being alone. I know today that the only reason I felt so empty and broken inside was because I didn't know myself at all. So it was the hardest 5 months, the hardest and most emotional 5 months of my life. And I didn't know how to deal with how I was feeling, all this pain, all this emotion. And one day I called the person that I used to be with and I asked, "Are you happy?" And he said yes. And it was from that moment that I decided that I was going to be happy, and that I was going to find a happiness that worked for me, that I wasn't going to deal with this pain and these waves of emotion anymore. So I started journaling my breakup. I wrote down my feelings and my thoughts. And recently, looking back on my journal, I realized how I would end my writing off with positive affirmations towards myself. Things like, "You can do this, Kate." And I'm a huge fan of quotes, so I was putting quotes all around my room in places that I could see easily. And I started reading motivational books on positivity and powerful thoughts and how to change your mind. I was trying everything to get through how I was feeling, something that seemed so impossible. But just like those positive affirmations that I was writing towards myself, I knew that I had the strength to move on. I just didn't know how strong I actually was. So I had to pick myself up in some way. And I did. I slowly started to, and for the first time in my life, I realized just how capable I actually was of standing on my own and being my own person. I just had to learn through loss that all I needed to have was me. So for the whole of high school, I let those 3 things define me: other people's opinions of me, my weight, a relationship. And by allowing these things to define me, I let them control and consume my life. And I was looking for happiness in those 3 places, but I could never, ever seem to quite find it. I believe that happiness is something that you create for yourself, by yourself, on your own terms. The world that we live in is something that we create for ourselves. And I'm not talking about society's world. I'm talking about the individual world that each and every one of us experience, because as we shape our world and our lives, we shape ourselves too. So I've learned through picking myself up through a breakup and letting go of the things that I thought defined me, just how important it was for me to take the time out to figure myself out, get inside my own mind, and understand myself. As there's only one part of the universe we can all be certain about improving, and that's ourselves. I'm currently reading a book called The 15 Invaluable Laws by John Maxwell. And in this book, he says something that really made me think. He says, as children, our bodies grow automatically. A year goes by, we get taller, we become stronger, become capable of doing more things, facing new challenges. But a lot of people carry with them a subconscious belief into adulthood that spiritual, mental, and emotional growth occurs automatically too. Now just think about that for a second, because I was one of those people that believed that those things occur automatically, but it's not. Personal growth has to be intentional. We have to take ownership of our growth process because we do not simply improve by accident. Think about a close friend of yours. The longer you spend time with them, the more you learn about them, and the closer you become. And it's exactly the same with yourself. The more you focus your energy on getting to know yourself, spending time by yourself, the more you will learn about yourself, and the closer you will become to yourself. And let me tell you that is such a beautiful feeling when you realize how close you are becoming to yourself. I've decided to make myself a priority in my life. And self-discovery is the best gift that I'm busy giving myself, and it's the one gift I wish I could get each and every one of you who don't have it already. It has allowed me to grow on my own terms without someone else telling me how to. And by doing this, I'm becoming the person I want to be rather than the person I was told to be. And a lot of people think that putting yourself first is selfish. But putting yourself first simply means taking a stand, looking at yourself and saying that I'm going to do everything in my power to see myself succeed and reach my dreams. I'm going to make the best choices in my life, including the people that I surround myself with, people that add nothing but value to me. And once you decide to love who you are, you can then take that love that you have for yourself and spread it to other people. Because without that self-love, you limit your ability to pour into the lives of other people and add value to them. Living the best version of yourself inspires other people to live the best version of themselves too. I was speaking to one of my friends the other day, and she asked me two questions. She said, Caitlin, how did you decide that you wanted to make a change in your life, within yourself and your mindset? And secondly, how did you make it stick? So I had to think quite hard about what she asked me. But I said to her, I knew that I wanted to make a change in my life the moment that I decided that I was going to be the only person that was going to determine my happiness. That I was going to be the only person that was going to define me, not those three things. And how I made it stick? I pushed. I pushed through all the negative thoughts. I pushed through all the negative self-talk. And it wasn't easy. It's never easy. But I always had a craving to know myself deeper. And if you want anything that badly, anything is possible. I know that the relationship that I have with myself is the most important relationship. The relationship that you have with yourself is the most important relationship. And how you see yourself and how you treat yourself is how you see and how you treat other people. How can you expect to give love if you can't give love to yourself first? Ask yourself today if the relationships you have in your life are adding value to you. Are they helping you grow into the person you want to become? And then ask yourself, but am I adding value to me? And these two questions are very important because the people that you surround yourself with in life have a very big impact and influence on you and your growth. But you have the biggest impact and influence on you. So if the answer to these questions are no, then decide today to maybe make a change. And if you decide to make that change, don't just place a small amount of value on yourself, because rest assured, the world will not raise your price. Know your worth. Start focusing yourself, developing yourself, improving yourself. Good things will come, and know that the space between where you are now currently and where you want to be is growth. And the thing called life that happens in between is hard, but it's really, really beautiful. Thank you.
So good. This is a question that Sheepa asked in the comments, so I wanted to highlight that. I thought that was a great question. And I think this is actually a great journaling prompt, because how can you even answer this in a sentence? You can't. You have to journal, and you have to get your thoughts out and really dive into that. I love that. It's a great journaling prompt and a great question. Thank you for posing that. I would love to hear, what are your thoughts in general on this message? What are your thoughts in general? Anything stand out to you? Oh yes, yes. This is a great question too, Sheba. What are your self talk? What does that look like? What does your self talk look like? Yes, round of applause. Round of applause. Um, yeah, man, that was a great message. A great message. And I definitely resonated with a lot of the things she was saying. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. What did you think about her message? Did anything stand out to you? Did anything like make you think about something differently? For me, it definitely made me think about this, and it went perfectly with the journaling prompt that I chose earlier today to share with you. I asked myself, I'm going to share this because this kind of relates to the question I just asked, and I still want to hear from you. So while I give you time to answer, I'm going to answer. What do I need to accept myself is the question I asked myself in this journaling prompt. And I responded, I need to accept my past pains as current wins. First of all, we just talked about that, how, your past pain brings you to where you are now. Like what I experienced, that pain in my heart brought me to feeling more aligned today. The things I've done in the past or have been through are the guides for my current and future. Absolutely. Absolutely. I accept my weaknesses and ask Divine to send me amazing people, friends, mentors, and family to help me make up for these weaknesses. We don't have to do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. I need to accept that I am one woman and I need help. I need help pursuing my dreams. It's okay to ask. Man, yeah, it aligns with what she was saying with, it sparked that thought in me of being able to accept myself and accept my journey. Just like with her breakup and being able to make that self-awareness, getting that self-awareness of, wow, I'm not happy. I'm not happy and I can choose to be happy. And then like Sheba said, I can choose how I'm going to talk to myself. Well, she started putting those quotes up. I used to do that as well, putting the quotes up around her apartment, because you are what you read, you are what you consume. So if you have these beautiful affirmations around your space, you're going to take that in, and that's going to become a part of your self-talk. That's going to become a part of your self-talk. And I think that's so important, to be able to make that self-awareness, have that self-awareness that you can move out of it. Moving more with intention, because now like, okay, this is what I've been through. Now I'm going to intentionally choose to be happy, and I'm going to intentionally do these things that are going to make me feel happy. Yeah, that are going to make me feel like I deserve this. I deserve to feel happy. I deserve to feel loved. And that brings me to this next section that says, that talks about self-worth, which is another component of the 4 components of self-love. Because of the continuous negative programming that we face in society. She talked about that too. She talked about in the TED Talk how she had a different perspective of, she tried to start losing weight and really started to do these unhealthy things because of the images she was seeing in the media. So we're faced with all these things in society. We focus on the bad and unpleasant things and project this negativity onto ourselves so often without even realizing it. That self-awareness, right? You are born with an endless sea of potential. That's something to quote and put on your wall. You are born with an endless sea of potential. Limitless, boo. Limitless. Limitless. And that, I just want to real quick. Limitless. Limitless. That's where I get my logo. That's where I got my logo. I was like, look, I want everybody to know that they are limitless. You have no limits. And I'm speaking this to myself as well. And that's where this is where that space of being intentional. I created this logo specifically for that, where I didn't write it. I didn't draw it, but I had this in my mind. And I love also another shout out to Tara, and again, sending her some love with her new tattoo that she has like this, but it says faith. And that's exactly what I was going with. Like, unlimited faith is another, that's beautiful, but I want you to feel limitless, because you are. I want you to feel like there is no ceiling, because it ain't, it ain't. So I love that we were able to bring all of that together. Because, okay, yeah, she had just such a great message. And so I love that we were able to kind of bring that all together. So I want to kind of go back a little bit now that I brought up the reason for my logo, and today's conversation in general is, since we are having this Black Business Month, we're going to be highlighting Black businesses. So we want to jump in with that by starting with me. So that's what I'm talking about, my self-love journey, because that's what started She Got Love. So that's what we're diving into. And I'm really excited to continue telling you and working with you, or talking with you and having this conversation, because it's just helping me grow. I hope it's helping you grow. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. All right. I want to read what Asha has here. She says, honestly, I want to watch the video a second time because there were many points that resonated with me, and I would like to spend time with all of these amazing questions. Yes. So I will put the link. I'm actually going to share the link I'll share the link in the comments so that you can go back and watch it, because it is a very good conversation. I mean, a very good, she has some really good, valid points that resonated with me. I know they resonated with you. And that's the beautiful part about being vulnerable, is you're sharing these experiences that you've had that may feel, raw, but they can touch someone else and give somebody else a sense of validation. Like, oh, you went through that too? You went through that too? Like, I'm not alone in this, So I believe that's being vulnerable is really the space that we all want to get to, where we can just share with each other in a safe space, and be able to have these conversations so that we can all grow together. I'm putting the video in the comments right now, so you can go back and watch that. It was a good one, I agree. So going back, to the story I shared earlier, I want to rewind even more. Before I moved to New York, when I was still living in Chicago, I got to a point, I remember I had just finished school. I was living back at home with my parents, figuring out what I was going to do, starting up the business that I was telling you about, with working with gymnasts and cheerleaders and dancers. I was doing that, and really just wasn't happy. Like, I could tell that I wasn't having, I didn't feel aligned. I would go to the gym and I would work with the gymnasts, and I'd be happy that I was able to help them. But I just felt like I was restricted. I felt like, there was just a lot of energy that was reminding me of my experiences in gymnastics, that gymnastics was a love-hate relationship. So some of the things, when I finished gymnastics, I didn't even watch gymnastics videos for 2 years. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with that sport. I don't want nothing to do with it. So being back in that space was it was, like I said, love, hate. So it was nice, but it was also I don't want to be here. And so I was trying to figure myself out. Why am I unhappy? Why am I waking up and I'm irritable and snapping at everybody? Why do I not feel good? Something feels off. Something doesn't feel right. And it was uncomfortable. And I got to the point where I had that self-awareness moment, and I was like, something's not right. I need to do something about it. So I decided to start waking up early, because I discovered these different videos that talked about meditation and how important it was. And I would wake up in the morning, and as soon as I wake up, my mom would be up with me and she would ask me to do something. Or my dad would be up and he would ask me about something, and it would throw off where I wanted to start my day. And that, I noticed that would it would irritate me. So I started to journal all these things out, and I decided I wanted to do meditation. I wanted to try meditation. So I decided to get up early in the morning at 4:30 before anybody else was up, because if I got up at the same time as them, they would start asking me to do things. So I got up at 4:30 in the morning, or 5, around that time, and I would meditate for 10 minutes, and I would go for a walk. and I would read and I would eat and I would have like myself time. Yes, you need that space. Yes, and that's why I decided to do this. It had got to a point where when I was living at home that I think it was the day after Christmas, and I was up in the morning and we still have family over, and I was about to make myself some breakfast, and I'm cooking my eggs and stuff, and then I take the pan and I put it in the sink, and then I go downstairs to eat. And my mom goes, "Why didn't you clean up your plate or clean up your pot?" And I was like, "I'm gonna eat first." And mind you, again, I just woke up, so I haven't had my space, my alone time yet. This is before the 4:30 a.m. wake up calls, and I just remember feeling really irritable. And as she's talking to me, and so she's like, "Well, why didn't you clean here?" And she's going off, and we have a little riffraff. And I made a decision after that I am going to an Airbnb for 3 days. I can't do this. I need some time. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to bring my yoga mat. I'm going to journal. I'm going to do all the things that I need to do to fill myself up. And I did that. I got a place that had a hot tub, and I would go for walks, and I bought myself some great meals or some great groceries so I can cook. It was a great time, a great experience. I needed that self-love. And that's when I made that decision. Like, this is something I need to do every day. That's what the 4:30 a.m. wake-up calls came. That's when I started to get up, because I was like, I need to get up on a regular basis and experience this, like that trip that I had, because it just really helped set up my day. And then I was able to deal with people, not deal with them, but I was able to communicate with people in a way that it was more authentic, and I wasn't irritated, and my emotions that weren't based on other people's feelings. I wasn't taking on everybody else's energy, because I had protected mine from the jump. It's very important to give yourself this self-love. It's very important. And that's why we're here. That's why She Got Love is here, because I want to help you in your journey, because you're going to bring about the things into your life that you deserve, because you're giving yourself what you deserve. You can't give from an empty cup. If you want to go out and have an impact on people, you can't do so if your cup is not full. You can't do so if your cup is not full. So I want to jump into this next video, because it explains exactly what I'm talking about without me having to say it. Yes, so let's watch this video featuring Jim Carrey. So good. Oops. Did I hide it? Show and stream. There we go.
I'm here to plant a seed today, a seed that will inspire you to move forward in life with enthusiastic hearts and a clear sense of wholeness. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. As someone who's done what you're about to go and do, I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. That peace that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality, beyond the perception of others, beyond invention and disguise, even beyond effort itself. You can join the game, fight the wars, play with form all you want, but to find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory, because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We are not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself, until someone smarter than myself made me realize that there is nothing bigger than myself. As that shift happens in you, you won't be feeling the world, you'll be felt by it, you'll be embraced by it. The imagination is always manufacturing scenarios, both good and bad, and the ego tries to keep you trapped in the multiplex of the mind. Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script, and the working title is, I'll Never Be Enough. This is the voice of the ego. And if you listen to it, there will always be someone who's doing better than you. No matter what you gain, ego will not let you rest. It will tell you that you cannot stop until you've left an indelible mark on the earth, until you've achieved immortality. How tricky is this ego that it would tempt us with the promise of something we already possess? As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. And don't worry if you miss your cue, because there's always doors opening. They keep opening. And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You'll come up with your own style. That's part of the fun. Oh, and why not take a chance on faith as well? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. Faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire, and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love. Choose love. And don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Choose faith, not fear. Choose love. Choose love. That's what She Got Love is here to do, is to help you choose love. Choose self-love. Because you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. I want you to tell yourself you deserve it. You deserve self-love. You deserve it. Yes, Jim Carrey is amazing, isn't he? That was a really dope video. Yeah, it definitely touched me in different ways. And that's what we're here to talk about. Like that's what it's all about. It's that self-love. So I'm so happy that you're, getting something from these talks, because I'm going to continue to do them, and I'm going to continue to be here for you and provide that reminder, like, you deserve it. I'm always going to be here to root you on, because you deserve it. You deserve it. Thank you so much for joining the Midday Chat today, for allowing me to be vulnerable with you and share my story, and to share why I started She Got Love in the first place. Because I want to reach out to you so that you can have these experiences that lead you to alignment and inner harmony. Finding that inner harmony and that inner peace, like Jim Carrey was just talking about, right? That space, it's such a sweet spot. I want to help you find your sweet spot. I do. Because you deserve it. And choose love, hope, and faith always. Period, Sheepa. Period, Pooh. Thank you guys so much for joining today's midday check-in. I'm about to sign off. I hope that you take some of the information that you learned today, some of the stories, I hope some of my story has impacted you in a way where you were able to learn and be motivated to learn about yourself deeper so that you can give and have an impact on the world. But you have to start within, and you're starting to realize that. And you already knew that. You did. You already knew that. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Do you know what I'm going to say now? Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to wait for it. I don't happen to watch y'all. I might be waiting for a minute.